So inside the standard package java.lang, Java defines several exception classes. So we have to consider this package java.lang, okay, that is Java folder inside the software. In that we have the exception classes, okay. The most general of these exceptions are subclasses of the standard type runtime exception. So we have already discussed about the exception classes, that is from this diagram, okay. So we came to know there are some exception classes from this diagram. So that is, see, see, throwable is the superclass. Error and exception are the subclasses. Again, for exception subclass, we have the arithmetic exception and runtime exception. So further they are going. That means for if you consider runtime exception as the superclass, then for runtime exception class we have the subclasses. So that of the most general of these exceptions are subclasses of the standard type runtime exception. That means runtime exception you have to consider it like a superclass. For runtime exception we have the subclasses. Okay. So these exceptions need not be included in methods row list. That means in the previous program we have in previous programs we have done, like, see, for example, if we look at this program, we have written one method, and in method we have written throws illegal access exception. That means method throws list means after using keyword throws, in front of keyword throws we have to write the exception class name. Okay. So which exceptions we have to write and which exception class names you should not write, that they are telling in this paragraph. That is, so subclasses of runtime exception. That means subclass of runtime exception need not be included in methods throw list. In the language of Java, these are called unchecked exception because the compiler does not check to see if a method handles or throws these exceptions. So there are two things: checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Okay. So in case of unchecked exceptions, we need not write in the methods through list. That is, in the language of Java, these are called unchecked exceptions because the compiler does not check to see whether if a method handles or throws these exceptions. The unchecked exceptions defined in java.lang are listed in below table. So these are the unchecked exceptions. So as I said, there are two exceptions: checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. See here, arithmetic exception. See, generally these exception class names we will not use in methods through list. So what we do, whenever we come across try and catch block, there we include. See, arithmetic exception in some programs we have included in the catch block. Okay. So that means these are the unchecked exceptions. So we have to handle manually. So we have to write in the catch block. So arithmetic exception, class name is arithmetic exception, and you see how they have written the class name: A capital, E capital. That means there are two words. Okay, so if there are two words in the class name, so how we have to write is first letter of the first word is capital, first letter of the second word is capital. Similarly, if we have many words like array, index, out of bounds, exception, so first letter of every word you have to write in capital letter. So that's the convention they are using. Okay, and these are called as unchecked exceptions. Okay, because in methods throw list we will not use. When we use try and catch block, we use these exceptions. So meaning they have given arithmetic exception, arithmetic error such as divide by 0, array index out of bounds exception. Okay, array index out of bounds. That means if we are storing the value in the array location which is more than the length, then it will show this error. Okay, array store exception, assignment to an array element of an incompatible type. So incompatible type means the definition of array says collection of elements with same name and same type. If you are storing floating point value for an integer array or integer value for floating point array, then you will get this type of exception. Class cost exception, invalid cost. Cost means like type casting, converting from one data type to another. Okay, enum const not present exception. An attempt is made to use an undefined enumeration type. Like structures, we have enumeration. Okay, in data types, we have arrays, pointers, references, functions, structures, classes. Similarly, enumeration, one topic is there. Okay, that is in C language only it will come. So if there is any error related to enumeration data type, then we'll get this error. Illegal argument exception. So illegal argument used to invoke a method. So by reading the meaning only, we'll come to know what are the types of errors here. Illegal monitor state exception. So illegal monitor operations such as waiting on an unlocked thread. So in multi-threaded programming, we come across this type of error. Illegal state exception. Environment or application is in incorrect state. Similarly, these are the errors. Depending on the requirement, we have to use these errors. Okay, see, null pointer exception is there. Okay, invalid use of null reference. In object reference, we tried, right? Creating an object reference and one object, and making two objects to point to the same memory. If I make one object as null, it will not affect the other. And if we try to use the object which we have made it as null, this exception will get. Okay. A number format exception, invalid conversion of a string to a numeric format. Security exception, attempt to violate security. Illegal thread state exception. So in multi-threaded programming, we will come across. Type not present exception, unsupported operation exceptions. So these class names we have to remember with the meaning, so that we'll come to know which class names we have to use in while writing try and catch blocks. Okay. Then the below table lists the exceptions. See, with respect to unchecked runtime exceptions, still there are many, but some of them they are given. Okay. Define Java's unchecked runtime exception subclasses defined in java.lang. Okay. Then the below table list exception defined by java.lang that must be included in a methods throw list if the method can generate one of these exceptions and does not handle it itself. These are called checked exceptions. So checked means we have to check it. That means in methods throw list we have to give. Just like in the previous program we have given here. Throw one throws illegal access exception. So in the method throw list we have to mention. So it is called as throws list. List means one or more you have to mention. If there are many exceptions, you have to mention here. Okay. Then. Okay, so we'll look into this table. Java's checked exceptions defined in java.lang. Class not found exception. So class not found. Like in some cases, file not found will also come across this exception, because in Java files or Java classes are same here. Okay. Illegal access exception. So it is one word. Access to a class is denied. Instantiation exception. Attempt to create an object of an abstract class or an instance. See, when we try to create an object of an abstract class, which is not allowed. For interface also, object is not allowed. So in that case, we get this exception, instantiation exception. So creating an object means creating an instance. So the exception name is like this. See, if you look at the exception name, that is class name, so something we will understand. Okay. See, for example, first class not found exception. So what is the meaning of that? Java file is not found, or Java class is not found, like that. Okay. Interrupted exception. So in interruption topic will come in multi-threaded programming. That is next chapter. One thread has been interrupted by another thread. No such field exception. Okay, and a requested fields does not exist. So especially in case of DBMS, we come across these exceptions. Field means it is nothing but a column in a table. In DBMS, database language, field is nothing but a column in a table. So if you're trying to get the data from the database, from one particular column, if that column is not present, then we may get this type of exception. Okay. No such method exception. Okay, requested method does not exist. Class not supported exception. Attempted to clone an object that does not implement the clonable interface. Clone means copy of an object. Okay. So this is all about like checked and unchecked exceptions. So we have to remember the class name, that is table. So in order to apply to our programs. Okay. Now coming to the next topic, creating your own exception subclasses. That means till now what we have written the program in exception chapter. Everywhere we use Java exception class names which are present in the Java class library itself. Okay, we have not created any exception class. So if I tell like, say for example, class finally demo. So when I write class finally demo, this is not exception class. This is one class name, that's all what we have written. But exception class names means, like, see, in this line we have used runtime exception. Runtime exception is exception class name. So like this, we can create our own exception class names. So we will see how to create our own exception class names. See, although Java's built-in exceptions handle most common errors, you will probably want to create your own exception types to handle situations specific to your applications. To do this, just define a subclass of exception, which is a subclass of throwable. The exception class does not define any methods of its own. It inherits those methods provided by throwable. Thus, all exceptions, including those you create, have the methods defined by throwable available to them. Some of them are shown in table. So, if we want to create our own subclass, that is exception subclass, what we have to do? So, we have to create our own exception type. To do this, just to define a subclass of exception. That means here class name exception will be the superclass, and whatever the class name we are going to write, that will be the subclass of exception. So which is the subclass of throwable? That means you see this diagram. So throwable is the superclass, exception is the subclass, and for this exception subclass we are creating one more subclass so that exception becomes the superclass. Okay, so whatever the class name we create, that will be the subclass of this exception. So exception becomes the superclass, which is in turn the subclass of throwable. Okay. So the exception class does not define any methods of its own. It inherits those methods provided by throwable. Thus, all exceptions, including those you create, have methods defined by throwable available to them. Some of them are listed below. So when we write our own exception subclasses, so which methods we have to use, that they are telling here. Some of the methods defined by throwable. Throwable, just a minute. So throwable, fill in stack trace, FILLIN, I capital here. Okay, fill in stack trace. Returns throwable object that contains a completed stack trace. Throwable get calls returns the exception that underlies the current exception. If there is no underlying current exception, null is terminated. See, these things we should know where and all we will come across these things. Okay, string get localized message. Returns a localized description of an exception. Okay. Print stack trace, displays the stack trace, string to string. See, in current situation, that is what we are going to discuss the program based on creating the own exception subclasses. This method we will use now. So I will tell you in the program. This method, I think we will override this method. That is, returns a string object containing a description of an exception. This method is called by println when we output a throwable object. See, I think you might have noticed these errors. You just look at, for example, see here we have one message called as java.lang.illegal access exception demo. Okay, so if these messages are displayed on the screen, means it is with the help of toString method. Okay, remember, it is with the help of toString method. This error message, and I think here we have these error messages. That is java.lang.arithmetic exception divided by 0. Then java.lang.array index of opponents exception 10. So these messages are defined in toString method. ToString method of the exception class. That is inbuilt. Already it is present in the Java class library. That message we can change. So I will tell you how to change that message. So it is already present. So return the string object containing a description of an exception. Description of an exception means like java.lang.arithmetic exception divided by 0, java.lang.array index of opponents 10. Those are the description of the exception. So this method is called by println when we output a throwable object. Okay. Next, get message returns the description of an exception. So actually it's similar only, but by using toString we can change the message. So I will tell you this topic we will going to discuss. Okay. See here, we may wish to override one or more of these methods in exception classes that we create. Exception defines 4 constructors. The 2 are shown here. So if I want to create my own exception subclass, so I have to make use of this exception constructor. See, exception is a class name which is already present in the Java class library. Okay, exception is a class name which is already present. For that, we have the constructors. Okay, 4 constructors. See, first one is without parameters, default constructor. Second one is with parameter, that is string parameter. So I think remaining 2 they have given later, or I don't know whether it is this much is required. The first form creates an exception that has no description. The second form lets you to specify the description of an exception. Okay. Although specifying a description when an exception is created is often useful, sometimes it is better to override toString. See, what happens is, till now we have used exception class names, arithmetic exception, array index out of bounds exception. In all the cases, we were getting message. Arithmetic exception divided by 0, array index out of bounds exception 10. Like it, illegal access exception, null pointer exception, like that we are getting message. But what they're telling, although specifying a description when an exception is created is often useful, sometimes it is better to override toString. Overriding toString means we are going to change the message, whatever the inbuilt message is there, like array index out of bounds exception, arithmetic exception divided by 0, that message we can change. So we can give our own message. So that they're telling, because the version of toString defined by throwable and inherited by exception, this first displays the name of an exception followed by the colon, which is then followed by a description. By overriding toString, we can prevent the exception name and colon from being displayed. This makes for a cleaner output, which is desirable in some cases. See what they're telling, when you look at these errors, for example, see here, if you look at this output, see, inside throw1 caught java.lang.illegal access exception colon demo. This much it is displaying. Okay, but in some cases, like it will not be useful, because see, if we are a Java programmer, we can understand this message. Java means package, java.lang means package, illegal access exception means exception name. Like that we can understand. But for common man, these exception names may be difficult to read, so he may not understand. What we can do, we can avoid these messages, like this much I can avoid, or even I can avoid this much, java.lang, like that. So whatever the message we feel that users can understand, in that way we can display. See, for example, if I can give best example is, if you go for an ATM, if the amount is not found, like if the balance is 0, if you want to draw the money, okay, if it displays like not enough balance, okay, or balance is 0, then you can understand. So in addition to that, if it displays java.lang.class not found, like that, nobody can understand, right? So for a common man, it feels difficult to understand. So displaying programming language name, folder name, file name, like that. So it is not required for the common man. So only we can change this message neatly, we can display, thinking that how user can understand. And even in this case also, see, where? Okay, here, java.lang.arithmetic exception, division symbol by 0. Okay, so instead of displaying like this, I can just say there is a division error, or there is a division by 0 error. Neatly one message I can display. So if we want those type of messages, then we have to use this concept. That is creating our own exception subclasses and writing our own message. Okay, see here. So although specifying a description when an exception is created is often useful, sometimes it is better to override toString, because the version of toString defined by throwable and inherited by exception first displays the name of an exception followed by the colon, which is then followed by a description. By overriding toString, we can prevent the exception name and colon from being displayed. This makes for a cleaner output, which is desirable in some cases. Okay. The following example declares a new subclass of exception and then uses the subclass to signal an error condition in a method. It overrides toString method, allowing a user defined description of an exception to be displayed. Now we see how we can change the error message and how how it is displayed actually. Okay. So this is the last program in this chapter, and it's interesting also. We'll see. Class myException. So myException is our class name. Okay, that means by following the identifier rules, we can give this class name. Extends means inheritance concept. Exception is a class name which is present in Java class library. So here before extends, whatever the class name I'm using, that is myException. That is the subclass of exception superclass. So it is a subclass of exception superclass. So here exception is a superclass, myException is the subclass. Okay. Private int detail. So detail is a variable name I am using. myException is the constructor because class name and method name are matching. Okay, it is a constructor. It is a parameterized constructor. One parameter I am using int here. Detail is equals to a. So whatever the a value we will get it when we create an object of my class, that a value will be copied to detail. Next, public string toString. Now you see toString method, it is already present in the exception superclass. toString method is already present. That method we cannot see. It is present in the Java class library. Now, if once again if I write that method, what happens? This concept is called method overriding. Method overriding means code will be present in the superclass. In the subclass, we will going to change the code. So our own code we will write. That concept is called as method overriding. So when you do method overriding concept, this should not change. First line of the method should not change. That means data type, access specifier, data type, and method name. That should not change. You have to follow same thing. Within opening brace and closing brace, whatever you want, you can write it. So that is the intention of method overriding. So to change the code only, we will do method overriding. So within opening brace and closing brace, we can write our own code. But first line of the method should be same. Okay, string to string. So for that purpose, what you have to do, you have to follow this table. See, in the table they have given string to string. So when they give the method names of the inbuilt classes, what they do, either they will give the syntax or the signature. Signature means first line of the method they will give. Okay, so that we can know what to use. See, if suppose in this table, if they have given like this, only this much, then we will not come to know how to use this method when we override, because what data type we have to use, that we will not come to know. Because when I override this method, thinking that it is a character array, if I use char, it becomes wrong. Okay, so char becomes wrong. That means I'm telling you here, instead of using string, if I say char, it is wrong. According to the method which is present in Java class library, it is a string data type. That is, return type is a string. Return type is a string. I cannot use a char. So only in the table, neatly they will give. You have to use compulsory string. Then we will come to know. About access specifier, they have not mentioned here. So that means we can change even access specifier. If I want to use private, you can use private, or public, you can use public, like that. But return type, method name should be same. Okay. So this is the code what we have changed. Now coming to the next class exception demo. I think in this main method is there. Here I have used one method called as compute. Okay, throws myException. See, now I think you people can understand this line easily. Static void compute is a method which will throw an error. Compute is a method which will throw an error. So for that purpose, I have used keyword called as throws. In front of throws keyword, you have to use the class name, that is exception class name. Say till now what we have used in previous programs, we were using like arithmetic exception, which is present in Java class library, or illegal access exception, which is already present in Java class library, or array index out of bounds exception, like this. Now what we are doing, so we are using class name of our own. So here only class is there. It is not present in Java class library. Here only it is there. So this class name only I am using. So you can copy this class name and you can paste here. So in wherever I am using throws keyword, I am using my class name only. So That is the concept here, creating our own exception subclass. Okay, so throws my exception. So if you see where is this my exception class, in the same program, in this program only we have. Okay. Next, in the method system.out.println called compute a. So we'll see what it displays. If a greater than 10, throw new my exception of a. Again here also, throw wherever you use throw keyword. As I said, you have to use new keyword then class name. So class name, that means constructor name. So if it is no parameters, that means default constructor. So you have to use default, that is only parenthesis. If it is a parameterized constructor, you have to use parameterized constructor. So how will you come to know means you just see here. So here only it is present. Okay. So I think in one of the program we have used like this. That is illegal access exception of demo. I hope people remember. So like this we have used. That is which is already present in Java class library. But here I am using my own class name. That is my exception. And for my exception, we have the constructor with one parameter. So here also I have to use one parameter, that is argument. System.out.println normal exit. Okay. Next, in the main method, try compute of 1, compute of 2. So compute is a method which is static. So I need not create the object of class exception demo to call this method compute. Directly I can call the method. If the method is static, you can call directly without creating an object. Okay. Then compute of 1. So 1 means it is an argument value. Why I have used 1 here means because I have one parameter in the compute method. So it should match. So these two are called as method call or function call. So from the method call or function call only method starts working. It is nothing but invoking statement. So these two are the invoking statements for this complete method. So when these two lines are written, then this method starts working. Okay. So compute of 1 means 1 will be copied to a. So compute of 20 is 20 will be copied to a, like that. And here catch block is there. So to display the message. See, in this catch block, this E will not display inbuilt description. That is java.lang.arithmetic exception, java.lang.illegal access exception, java.lang.array index. Those messages it will not display. So we will see what message it will display. Okay. So this is the diagram. So we will discuss in detail of this diagram. Okay. See here. So from where we have to come? From main method. Okay. Public static void main. See, compute of 1, compute of 20. Just a minute. Okay, from left side. From left side you see. Okay. In main method, compute of 1. So compute of 1 means the value 1 will be copied to the variable a. You just look at the arrow mark. The value 1 will be copied to variable a. Okay, in compute method. So a contains 1. And simultaneously you look at the output. Okay. System.out.println called compute of a. So here value of a will be displayed. A value is 1. Okay. Called compute is string. And this brackets also, parenthesis also string, called compute of, wherever a is there, that value will be printed, called compute of 1. Okay. Next, if a greater than 10, so a value is 1. So 1 greater than 10, 1 greater than 10 is false, right? The condition 1 greater than 10 is false. So if the condition is false, statement immediately following the condition will not be executed. Statement immediately following the condition will not be executed. See, when you learn the advanced topics in any programming language, don't forget the basics. Sometimes basic will eat our head, will not come to know correctly. So you have to remember that statement immediately following the condition will not be executed. But statement which is following that statement will be executed. So only we just look at the arrow mark. So if the condition is false, system.out.println normal exit. This statement is executed. Previous statement will not be executed. So if the previous statement is not executed, so there is no exception, because in the previous statement exception is there. Throw new my exception of here. So it is not executed. Leave that. So we'll come to the next line. System.out.println normal exit. So it will print the sentence normal exit. So we got the output called compute of 1 normal exit. Okay. Now it will come back to main method. So this is the end of the method. So in the first case, what we have done, we have passed the value 1, because the condition is if a greater than 10, so 1 greater than condition is false, 1 greater than 10 condition is false. So the statement immediately following the condition will not be executed. So it will execute the statement which is following the next statement, that is system.out.println normal exit. Okay. Next, when you come to the second method call, that is compute of 20, we will see what happens. Okay. So when compute of 1 is called, because there is no error in case of working of compute of 1, so only catch block will not be executed. Okay, I hope people are getting. When we say compute of 1 value is passed to compute method. In that case, there was no error, because if a greater than 10, 1 greater than 10, condition is false, statement immediately following condition is not executed, that is throw new my exception of a. So if throw new my exception of a line is executed, then we can say there is an error. If this line is not executed, there is no error. So only catch block is not executed now. Now we will come to compute of 20. You look at the right side of the diagram, because after compute of 1, there is a statement called compute of 20. So we will see. So when I say compute of 20, so value 20 will be copied to variable a. So same method, compute method only, value 20 will be copied to a. So when I say value 20 is copied, what happens first? First it will display the message called compute of a, called compute of 20. Next what you have to check? Condition you have to check. So if a greater than 10, so a value is 20, so 20 greater than 10. So 20 greater than 10 condition is true. 20 greater than 10 condition is true. So statement immediately following the condition should be executed. So what is the statement immediately following the condition? Throw new my exception of a. Throw new my exception of a. So when I say throw new my exception of a, wherever you look at the keyword throw and the keyword new, that means we are making intentionally one error. The intention of using throw keyword is just we are making one error. So that error is throw new my exception of a. So my exception of a value have to substitute. A value is 20. That 20 will be copied to my exception constructor. You see the constructor. So 20 will be copied to my exception of a. That a value will be copied to detail variable. Okay. Next. So this much it happens. I hope you people are getting. So 20 greater than 10 is condition is true. Throw new my exception of a value is copied to a, that is 20. 20 will be copied to detail. Now detail value will be 20. So now we'll come back. So public string to string it will execute later. I will tell you. So immediately after my exception constructor, don't go to toString. I will tell you when we have to go for toString. Now you come back. When you come back, we have to come for the main method. Okay. We have to come for the main method, because if throw new my exception of a is executed, next line will not be executed, because whenever you come across throw keyword, it will come out of the method. So it will come to the main method. When it comes to the main method, because there is an exception, you have to go for catch block. Remember, because there is an exception, you have to go for the catch block. If you compare with compute of 1 and compute of 20, in case of compute of 1, there is no error, so no catch block will not be executed. In case of compute of 20, we got an error, so catch block should be executed. So when catch block is executed, system.out.println caught, that word is printed. You just follow the output also, caught colon plus e. So wherever you come across plus a symbol in print or println method, system.out.print, system.out.println. So wherever you come across plus a symbol will call the toString method. Remember, plus a symbol will call the toString method. If toString method is written in our program, it will call that method. If toString method is not written in our program, it will call the method of the Java class library. Okay, I think in interview this question they may ask. What happens when plus symbol comes across in println method, print or println? It will call the toString method of Java class library. If we have overridden that method, because, that means if we have written toString method in our program, so whatever the method we have written in our program, that method it will call, not the method of Java class library. So you just see arrow mark, you see where it is pointing, toString method. So in toString method, what is present? Return my exception of detail. So my exception of detail means detail value is 20 here. So we have called compute of 20, right? That 20 will be copied to detail. So my exception of 20, wherever detail word is there, you have to consider like value 20. So my exception of 20, this entire string will return back to the main method. Remember, this entire string, my exception of 20 will return back to the main method. And wherever object E is there, there you have to consider this string, my exception of 20. So wherever object E is there, you have to consider my exception of 20, because plus symbol will combine. Plus, the working of plus symbol is to concatenate. So to which string it has to concatenate? It has to concatenate with the string quat. Quat is already present in println method. To this string, it has to concatenate. So when it concatenates, it becomes quat colon my exception of 20. Quat colon my exception of 20. So the intention of using the this subclass, that is exception subclass, is, see here, it is not, even though we have created one error, it is not displaying like java.lang.arithmetic exception colon like that. Okay, so that's the intention of using subclasses. So about compute of 20, once again I will explain, just listen. Compute of 20, 20 will be copied to variable A. If A greater than 10, 20 greater than 10, condition is true. Immediately after that condition, if the condition is true, throw new my exception of A is 20, that 20 will be copied to my exception constructor, that A value will be copied to detail, okay. So for time being, you have to remember this much. Detail value will be 20. You don't go to toString, come to the main method. So in the main method, you have to go for the catch block, because we have come from the statement throw new my exception of A. So if you have come from the line, that is wherever throw keyword is there, immediately you should come for catch block, because throw keyword indicates it is an error, right? So in the catch block, we have quat plus E, plus will concatenate the string. It will call the toString method. In the toString method, my exception of detail. So my exception of 20. So that will be written as the string. It will combine with the word quat. So it displays quat my exception of 20. Okay. So just look at the diagram. If you come across any doubt, you can ask.